Hi, I'm Mike Violette with Espresso Engineering at the 2011 IEEE EMC Symposium. I'm pleased to be here with Bruce Archambeault, Distinguished Engineer from IBM. Bruce, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
We're here to talk about the EMSAT design, EMC design rule checking software. Bruce, what can you tell me about the capabilities and use of EMSAT?
Well, basically, EMSAT is intended to read in printed circuit board CAD files and then analyze it against a set of predetermined EMC rules. Now, if you have a very small circuit board with only a few traces on it, a human can do this and it's no problem. However, most boards nowadays are very dense, many layers.
10, 12, 14.
I've seen some with as many as 50 and 60 layers.
50 and 60 layer
some of the bigger mainframes that IBM develops and so forth. And there's no way a human being can go through all those layers in any reasonable amount of time. Humans get tired, they get distracted, and they miss things, Computers don't get tired. And so EMSAT reads in these board files, goes through every single net that you tell it to in there, looks to see if you're violating any of the various EMC rules that are programmed into it, and then warns you if you have. I've yet to see any board that doesn't violate an EMC rule somewhere. Yeah, there's always some. But then we can visually display what that violation is so the engineer can look at that and say, oh, this is really important, I better fix this. Or, it's not so important, so yeah, we'll let this one go, because it's hard to fix. And so that very fast. The key is the speed. When, if you try to do this by hand, then what's going to end up happening is it's going to take you hours and hours and days to do what this computer can do with this program in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that.
So it's almost an artificial intelligence type of tool that has been developed over the years by the IBM technical experts.
That's right. It's actually, this is the second generation tool now, and it has more than 18 years of experience since we first released the first beta code within IBM. In IBM, every single circuit board that we design goes through EMSAT for analysis. And in fact, when we subcontract to other companies to help us with servers or boards or whatever we do, we require them, I should say, to run EMSAT or at least provide us with the data so we could run EMSAT and warn them that there's maybe going to be an EMC problem with a board.
So those subs, those vendors are adoptees and I'm sure enthusiasts now too, because
absolutely.
How many times do you have to re-spin a board if you don't go through a tool like this?
Exactly. That's exactly the thing we're trying to do. In fact, kind of a little bit of a humorous story. We had a vendor in Asia who was building some boards for IBM, and the deal we had was that we would give them a copy of EMSAT to run on our boards only, okay? So they don't have to buy it and then charge us more because we required them to buy something, Well, one of the vice presidents of IBM was over there visiting with this company because we do a lot of business with them, and the vice president over there, that other company says, oh, this EMSAT is so wonderful. He said, we use it on all our circuit boards, okay? And of course they do other companies besides IBM.
Sure.
So the vice president was very pleased and comes back and pats me on the back and said, hey Bruce, you guys are doing good. They really like this tool. They're using it on every one of their boards.
Yeah.
I said, oh?
And you picked up your jaw up off the floor.
I said, they're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so we got the message
powerful.
back and they ended up buying a copy because they really wanted to use it on all their boards,
Fantastic.
not just IBM boards.
Yeah.
And IBM actually started out only using this within IBM, but now we offer it for sale commercially, and we have quite a few customers that have adopted this tool for their own particular boards, not just computer companies. Almost any kind of company can benefit. If you're making circuit boards, you can benefit from this kind of product.
You got digital circuits, or you got communications boards, you got all the above.
That's right, we got all the above. We have a wide range of different customers.
So Moss Bay is a value-added resource for EMSAT. So how can someone avail themselves of Moss Bay's capabilities and services?
Well, their website is www.mossbayeda.com, and so they can go to that and they can look at EMSAT and they can work out a demo program, loaner type of thing. We're also starting a new business model besides just buying it straight out. Customers have the opportunity of a pay-per-use type model, so that smaller companies or somebody who just wants to try it a little bit might not want to spend the total cost to buy a license, but they can do it on a pay-per-use.
It would be kind of scalable depending on how much flow of boards and work that you might have.
Right, exactly.
Fantastic. So physically you would do what? What does EMSAT need from the client?
Well, basically it needs the CAD file, like from Allegro or Mentor Graphics or whatever printed circuit board layout software that the company happens to use. You know,
It can support multiple common files.
Yes, all the common file structures.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course it's not something that can be used in a vacuum. You know, a good analogy might be that a power tool in a craftsman's hand makes his job, allows him to be more efficient and do a better job at his trade, right? But if you give somebody who has no idea how to use a saw, a power saw, they might cut their hand off, right? It's the same sort of thing with this tool. This is a tool to help EMC engineers do their job better. So someplace in the background there has to be an EMC engineer that says, these are the rules that are important for our type of products, and here are some of the limits that we need, you know, and so we have defaults that come with it. But you know, IBM sells mainframe computers, you know, and servers. If you're doing something like Apple Computer, for example, you may not want some of the same rules because your technology is different, you know. And so we have a number of customers that have very different type products from IBM, and so their EMC engineers will kind of set up the fundamental parameters and so forth, and then other engineers can run it, you know, but you have to have somebody there that's knowledgeable in EMC. This is a tool to help the EMC engineer do their job better rather than replace the EMC engineer.
So it's scalable in use and it's scalable in implementation.
Right, exactly.
One size doesn't fit all.
That's, well, that's right, and nothing ever does, right?
Right. So this kind of tool, EMSAT, critical for advanced technologies. Things are only going to get more complicated, higher speeds.
Absolutely, I think
and now
so.
the EMC engineer can go to the rest of the design team with some backing as well. Say this needs to be implemented, changed, and now he's got that kind of tool and force.
And you know, not only in my own experience at IBM, but other customers have said the same sort of thing to me, that before they started using this tool on a regular basis, they would fail the first time they got into the EMC lab more often than not. Now they pass nearly every time the first time.
Oh, Bruce, thanks for the introduction to EMSAT and Moss Bay. Now, what do the customers have to say?
Well, the customers are very happy, and as you can see here, some of the more famous things, we've got one here says we use EMSAT every day. It takes 30 minutes to review a board with EMSAT. Before, that took them over 400 minutes. And another one says they've used EMSAT for more than 3 years now. It's one of the most valued tools in the entire EMC department. The other one says there's no way we could try to do what they can do with EMSAT, trying to do it in the lab. The EMSAT is what's saving their, solving all their problems and so forth. And we've got a lot of these kinds of testimonials from all kinds of customers in all kinds of areas. So these are just some of the ones we put on the board here.
Well, thanks for sharing that. The way I read that, this is a better than 20 dB improvement.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 20 dB improvement, even more than that, yes.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.